Emerson, and I work in Yale's Office of New Haven and State Affairs. And it's my job to coordinate the terrific work that so many people here at Yale do on behalf of New Haven and West Haven public school students. My job here tonight is to welcome you all to the 15th annual Scholar Closing Ceremony. So I'd like to say welcome to the families of our 2013 Scholar students. Thank you for lending us your children, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins for the past 2 weeks. And Scholar families, I'd like to introduce you to some distinguished people that we have with us tonight here to celebrate the accomplishments of your children over the past 2 weeks. So first, way in the back, is Alderwoman Dolores Colon. Thank you for coming, Dolores, to help celebrate with us. From the New Haven Public Schools, we have Science Supervisor Richard Therian. And we have a principal here with us from Hill Regional Career High School, Madeline Negron. We also have some real Yale champions of science outreach. We have Professor Steve Gervin, the Deputy Provost for Science and Technology. We'll hear from him in a moment. And we have Professor Robert Wyman, who has been part of the Scholar program for a long time, and you'll hear more about that. He's from the Department of Cellular and Developmental Biology, Professor Wyman. And from the home team, the Office of New Haven and State Affairs, we have also way in the back with Alderwoman Colon, Karen King, who's the Director of Community Outreach, Dr. Maria Parente, Yale Pathways to Science Program Manager, and the newest member of the Office of New Haven and State Affairs, Linda Blancato. And finally, welcome Scholar students. So I was thinking as I was walking over here of all the things that you could have been doing. Like you could have been home sleeping really late, you could have been playing Temple Run or Candy Crush Saga. But instead, you chose to come here and study science.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Ms. Merson, but we don't use science anymore.
What do you mean?
We use STEM. STEM. All right, let's do this one more time. STEM cheers. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. S-T-E-M. We are stepping into STEM.
I stand corrected. Could somebody tell me about that little tss at the end? Yes, ma'am.
Well, we're thinking about adding an artistic area next week. STEAM.
Nice. STEAM.
Yeah.
Great. What? Oh, sorry. They're thinking of adding arts to STEM. Science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, making it STEAM. I like hissing. Thank you so much for that. So our program begins tonight with Professor Steve Gervin, who's the Provost for Science and a really, really big supporter of programs like this one. Steve.
Thank you, Claudia. It's a pleasure to be here to not to welcome you to Yale, but welcome you to this closing ceremony after you've been here at Yale for 2 weeks learning something about what it's like to be a scientist or an engineer. So I thought I would talk to you for a couple of minutes about 2 things: feeling stupid and making mistakes. So you did a bunch of projects and learned about a bunch of new things in the last 2 weeks. And I suspect that how many of you felt confused and not fully understanding everything that you saw the first time you saw it? There's at least one pair. Come on, I'm sure there were more people. So, you know, we often hear students say to us, including students at Yale, you know, science just makes me feel stupid. I don't understand. But what you need to understand is people like me and Professor Wyman, I'm going to not speak for him about how stupid he feels, but you know, it makes us feel stupid every day. Why is that? It's because we're not just learning the facts that are in the book that other people have understood, previous generations of science understood, but we're out there at the frontier trying to understand things that people haven't understood before. And we don't understand, by definition, if you're working on something interesting, you're working on something you don't understand. And for people like you that are beginning their science careers, you may not yet be at the frontiers of science, but you're working at the frontier of your knowledge, trying to learn new things. So it's perfectly okay to feel that it makes you feel stupid. And every time you come to understand something new, or your experiment finally works and you understand something, then you're stuck again, because your experiment has given you more questions that you don't know the answers to. So get used to the fact that it makes you feel stupid. It's okay. And every once in a while, you know, for a brief moment, it makes you feel smart because your experiment works, and then you're stuck again. The successful scientists, every morning when they wake up, the first thing you should say to yourself is, could I be wrong? It's so easy to fool yourself when you're doing an experiment. You can't get the answer that you want to get. You have to get the answer that's the correct one. Mother Nature is telling you how things work. And the easiest person to fool as a scientist is yourself. You have to be constantly on guard against making mistakes. Could I have affected the outcome of the experiment because I thought it was supposed to go a certain way, so when it came out another way, I said, I must have made a mistake, I'll just ignore that data. You have to keep all the data, you have to understand the outcome, and you have to keep saying to yourself, am I making a mistake? Is there a better way to do this? Am I misunderstanding? And if you do that, you'll have the skills of a scientist. Whether or not you become a professional scientist, that particular skill of asking yourself over and over, am I making a mistake, is a really important one. I can't stay tonight. It's date night with my wife, so.
So this is a little piece that's not actually in the program, but it's going to happen anyway because it is. The story of the Yale Scholar Program is a very interesting one. And it really started way back in 1997 when some people at Yale got together and with our colleagues and friends in the New Haven Public Schools, and we thought about what is it that we could do at Yale that we could give to you guys and to the New Haven Public Schools that would really make sense and would really make a difference. And we came up with the idea of a summer science residential program where we could take a group of kids and they could be together and they could learn together and they could interact with Yale scientists. But we thought the idea of sleeping over and staying on campus for high school students would be really important. Who thinks it's an important idea? Me too. Me too, and I've thought it for the last 15 years. Because something special happens. You really begin to see your future as a college student. You really begin to see yourself maybe as a scientist with colleagues. And it's a wonderful thing. It's also an outrageously expensive thing. And there have been people who have been champions of this program, not just saying, yes, we support, outreach for science, but who have been real financial champions of this program, who have written grants and have put big chunks of money into these grants for this kind of work. And without some of those people, this program would have died a million deaths over the last 15 years. And a person who has been extraordinary to this program, who is, we talk about being the scholar family, and sometimes we call Dr. Lee, the baby daddy of the scholar program, and I'm the midwife. Well, Professor Wyman has been probably the strongest financial supporter of this as the principal investigator on the Howard Hughes grant that Yale University has had for 25 years. And for 15 of those years, Professor Wyman has been supporting the scholar program. So this is a little surprise, Professor Wyman, but we would like you to come up and stand on the X. And on behalf of this year's scholar students, and all of the scholar students who have graduated, and some of whom are 30 and working in science careers. I don't know if we ever threw this at you, but about 42% of students who go into scholar persist in science, and that may not sound like a lot to you, but the national average is 15. So scholar students traditionally hit this out of the park. Professor Wyman, we have a little gift that Sarah Flynn will now present you with. Sarah? Thank you so much, Bob. You can open it and show it to the students after. I'd now like to call...
Rewards of being stupid.
Huh? Well, you'll see whether this gift makes you feel stupid. You should open the gift. Open the gift now, rip it open. I have a feeling that Bob Wyman can open a gift quickly. Oh, maybe not. Anybody have a scissor? Oh, did you say something about time? Can you? You can make a scissor with the 3D printer?
No problem.
No pressure at all.
Only scientists can open this up.
Socks? Big pair of socks.
Science quiz clock.
It's a science quiz clock. Thank you, Bob. All right. No, we don't want to make them feel stupid on this, their celebration night. And each hour has a quiz for you.
Answer questions, come after.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, and we are now up to the part where I am going to call Maria Parente.
Hi everyone, welcome. Hi, hello. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Yale's coordinator for community programs in science, what we call Pathways to Science, and you see some of our older pictures from years ago of our scholar students, way back in 2009, 2010, some photos. And this summer I'm Scholars Program Director. So we've had a very exciting summer here at Scholar, and we've made several beneficial changes to the program since last year. This is the first year where the Scholar students are staying on campus over the weekend. And this edition really gave us some time, some big chunks of time that we could delve into a science topic or an area and do some hands-on enrichment activities over an extended period of time. In addition, we've also added several engineering classes to the Scholar program to expose students to this growing area. The addition of the engineering, both in the sophomores and in the junior classes, aligns with the new science standards, Connecticut science standards that might be coming into play in the next several years. You'll see some of these impressive engineering projects and material science projects in the Scholar movie that we have later on. Lastly, and our best decision yet, we also brought in a dedicated and hardworking residential director, Faye Mason, who graduated from Yale in 2011. Faye organized student residential life and organized an impressive array of science enrichment activities. I know that it took her a lot of time to do this, a lot of thought to do it. I was sitting right next to her while she was doing it. She didn't even know the students yet, but she really spent a long time figuring out what would be best for you guys to do and what to expose you to next. And she spent a lot of time contacting people on this campus to try and expose you. Podium.
This is really exciting, actually, to be standing in front of all of you. First of all, it's great to hear the STEM/STEAM cheer done again and done so energetically. So thank you, Scholar. But it's also just a privilege to be here as a resident director, because the thing I've heard the most today is that we all wish this wasn't the last day and that Scholar was continuing for weeks. And so when I was in high school, before my senior year, I did a similar program called GHP, which stands for Governor's Honors Program in the state of Georgia. And they sort of take all of the smartest kids in Georgia and throw them on a college campus, and you study the subjects that you're most excited about. And in that entire process, you're challenged. The professors you have give you work that you've never done in high school. You're not just filling out worksheets or reading and summarizing, you're actually asking questions and figuring things out, and it's very different from what you're used to. And in many ways, it made me a little uncomfortable, I was challenged, it was difficult, but I learned to deal with it. They've read work from freshman seminars and critiqued it. They've made Stereo's work, have come up with their own psychology experiments, and they've continued to impress me and all of their RAs every day. And so I couldn't be more proud to stand here and simply say that to all of you. So with that, I'm going to ask for the sophomore RAs and our sophomore speakers to come up to discuss their classes with the rest of you here. Hi everyone, my name is Lindsay, and I've had the pleasure of working with the sophomores for the past 2 weeks.
Hey, Lindsay.
Hi everyone, I'm John, and I've had the pleasure to be the other sophomore RA.
Hey, John.
Over the course of the past 2 weeks, the sophomores have been very busy. They've been taking 3 classes, and every morning they started bright and early with psychology, taught by the lovely Maria. The point of the psychology class was to introduce them to the experimental method, and they designed their own experiments and got knee-deep in how to conduct their own studies. And so we're happy to say that they all did by the end of the 2 weeks. And thank you, Maria, for all your help and support, for those late night runs with materials, to ask people 10 more questions. And I know they really enjoyed it and are super proud of what they accomplished. And then the second class they took was a material science class, taught by Tebow and Julie. And thank you so much for being here. They came to the talent show last night and they did so much to putting demos together and really exposing the kids to the fundamentals of material science, including polymers, metals, semiconductors, and just a wide range and breadth and depth of interesting.
Dr. Jack Kleingold. In this course, the students were engaged in college-level experiments related to neuroanatomy, histology, and electrophysiology. They got to work with worms, they got to stain their own samples of rat brains, and got to touch human brains. So it was pretty cool. But enough of us speaking, I'd like to introduce our 2 sophomore speakers, Vishal and Vanessa.
my name is Vishal, and the past 2 weeks have just been a great learning experience, and they've been a lot of fun. I've made a lot of new friends.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Hansen-Cordy, and I am a rising sophomore. So obviously this has been my first time here at Scholars, which I have to say was amazing. Yeah, if it hasn't been for Scholars, I don't even know what I would have done with my summer, and it was just a great experience. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity. All the classes that we took here were amazing, but I'm going to be talking about psychology with Miss Marie. Yes, it was amazing. When they told us that we'll be taking psychology, I was super excited, and then I stepped inside the classroom. It's freezing in that classroom.
So I didn't introduce myself at the beginning, but my name is Carmen, and I was one of the community RAs for Scholar this session. So along with Nikki, we took the reins on planning outside of the classroom enrichment activities and sort of led them through the weekend activities that we did as well. So that was our role, and I just have the pleasure of being able to tell the sophomore class, so I spent a little bit more time with the sophomore class than the juniors, how awesome you guys are. You guys have a powerful combination of intelligence and kindness. And those are really, really important things. Because you can be intelligent and not kind, you can be kind and not intelligent. But I was just... And I would like to ask you guys to stand and face your parents and families. And we're going to give you... Oh, just the sophomores. Yep, sorry. And then we're all going to give them another big round of applause.
Thank you. And with that, I would like to ask for the junior RAs to please come up along with the junior speakers.
Day. Yes, whole day. And you would read it public health, but we read it public health, which, you know, was its own issue. So we go into the room in WLH where we usually are, and we watched a few clips and documentaries and had discussions about how public health is around the United States.
Hey guys. So, as these kids know, my name is Nikki, and as Carmen mentioned, I am one of the community RAs for this session, and so I had the privilege of working for some of the time with the junior class, and I'm so impressed with them. I couldn't have imagined a smarter, sharper group of scholars. Also, I could never imagine a group of better mummy wrappers, SAT prep takers, rocket launchers, and mafia players than these ones. So thank you guys for making the past 2 weeks so much fun. And can all the juniors stand up and face the audience so we can give you a round of applause?
Parents, you'll be pleased and disappointed at the same time that Dr. Lee is not able to be with us tonight, so you will ultimately get home for dinner. It's my job now to thank a couple of people, and I really want to start by thanking Faye Mason for all the work that she did preparing for Scholar and actually living with your students this summer. Faye came to New Haven and to Yale shortly after she was in that governor's program in Georgia, and I had the pleasure of knowing Faye really as a freshman. Faye has worked with the Office of New Haven and State Affairs as a student worker, and then she graduated and worked for the university as a Woodbridge Fellow. Okay, and I realized that we didn't introduce Andrea Motto in the distinguished Yale people. Andrea heads up the Evolutions program, or EVO, and as you can see, Yale Science Outreach kind of all connects. So many of the Scholar students this summer are on campus all year long with Andrea. So Andrea, thank you for coming and giving us these lovely students. And now I'm handing this over to Maria Parente, and I really would like everybody to put it together for Maria. And Scholar students, please raise your hand if you are going to be seen by us at Pathways events. Yay! Maria is in touch with students throughout the year by email. She sends mailing. Goodness, let me tell you that we're getting a new president. We had the same president for like 20 years, right? And now we have a new one, and his name is Peter Salovey. And just like, you know, when presidents are elected, we have an inauguration, which is a lot of fun. There are going to be many, many, many events, and we may actually ask you to come and participate in some of the science events and to come to this inauguration, which is great because there's cake. So I'm going to hand this over to Maria now.
Oh, Claudia, please don't go anywhere yet. So Claudia often thanks everyone else in the program and gives them gifts and gives them flowers and all this stuff. And I've already received flowers from her, but no one ever thanks her. However, she is a person who deserves a lot of thanks. She's been with the program since 1998, even before that, in setting up the program. She's been a champion of it for quite a long time. She cares about each and every one of you, and cares about where you're going in your future. And so, we actually got you flowers. No! Thank you, Claudia. She may need some help putting those in there. So, I know this is getting a little long, but I wanted to talk a little bit about Pathways to Science. Of course, we are, you know, many of you were involved in or came to many of the programs before you actually began Scholar. Pathways to Science is the reason why you were invited to apply to Scholar. We are so happy that it brought you here. There are several other programs. We used to say that when you become a Pathways to Science student, you are in it until you graduate high school. But recently, and through very, very, very hard work by Claudia Merson, we have tried to start expanding the programs that we offer Pathways to Science students to after you graduate high school. So we just had our inaugural year of the New Haven Bridge to Success program, another on-campus residential program occurring in the summer between high school graduation and the student's first year of college. And Pathways to Science students will be invited to apply to that program. It just started this year. We already had 4 Scholar students involved in it. Here, is talented, and she has made a wonderful Scholar movie. I've seen it before. It really highlights all of the things that you did in the 2 weeks. It feels like you've been here actually longer because it highlights a number of things that you were involved in, and you did a lot in the last 2 weeks. I'm really proud of you, and I'm so happy that I got to spend another summer with all of you.
And I'm going to invite you not to squeal too loudly as you see the movie. Is that okay? A little decorum, because it would be nice for your parents to see the movie, and if you're shrieking, it'll be difficult.
I know it's a sad day. Just logistically speaking, so that everyone can get into the dorms again, we'd like the RAs to leave first.
Yes, it is.
This is the end of after 2 weeks. We are going to pick up my sister Anisa. Hi, I'm Wyman, and we are going home. Thanks for watching. If you like, comment, subscribe. Watch my other videos on Layers and Iron 91.